Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Galvin with another post-ER shift update. In North Carolina, our COVID numbers are down quite a bit. We're still seeing COVID. Unfortunately, had a very sick person last night that came in. The sick ones are all unimmunized, the ongoing problem. I was recently up in New York visiting family for the holidays, and the numbers up in New York are way worse than they are in North Carolina. So it looks like kind of the cases are shifting northward, and we've gotten through the majority of our big surge, but now there's concerns about the holidays and getting people getting together. There's still a lot of COVID out there, although we're not overwhelmed with COVID in the ER. We are overwhelmed with a lot of other just general sickness, because this is the time of year that it tends to be busy in the emergency department because people get sick in the winter. For whatever reason, that seems to be the case. But what we're going to talk about today is the Omicron variant, because it's been all over the news and kind of came out of nowhere, and I thought we should talk about it, whether or not we need to be worried about it or not. And the short answer to that is, I don't know. It could either be nothing to worry about at all, or it could be really, really bad. And we just don't have enough information at this point to know. Just to precede things, my name is Jeffrey Galvin. I'm a board-certified emergency medicine doctor. I also run an executive health age management practice in Charlotte, but I still work in the emergency department. I've been posting updates since this all started. And so today's topic is Omicron and what that means. Now, nobody really heard of this until, a couple weeks ago, when all of a sudden out of South Africa, we heard about this variant. And the reason it was sort of picked up is that South African cases had dropped to pretty low numbers. And then within a week or two, there was an area in South Africa that just had an exponential increase in cases. And this Omicron variant was discovered. We have limited data on it yet, so it's going to kind of impede my recommendations. But why is it a variant of concern, and why are people taking it very, very seriously? As you can see, most of the civilized world has kind of cut off travel to Southern Africa because of this, in part because we didn't do that with Delta, and we see what happened. It took over very quickly. But we have limited data. The concern is that spike protein that the virus uses to attach to cells, and we use to target vaccine therapies, and also our immune system uses to target our immune response to the virus, has about 30 mutations. And those mutations are concerning because there's so many of them on that spike protein. It could allow that virus to evade detection or evade the immune responses of our bodies, and thus, infect people, whether they've had it before, whether they've been immunized or not. And so that could be a very bad thing. We don't know a few things. We don't know if it's more transmissible than Delta. That's an important thing. We don't know if it causes more severe illness than Delta. Some preliminary reports we've heard out of South Africa showing that the illnesses it's causing is mild, and they've been mainly among young people, but young people tend to get mild disease, so it's probably too early to really call. Can it evade the immune system? We just don't know yet. We probably will have a lot more information in the next several weeks. We just don't know how the variant will fare in the real world. It's got to compete against Delta, and Delta is a pretty bad bug. It's very, very transmissible, and we've had a lot of other variants. We've had Beta and Lambda and Mu and Gamma that we were concerned about, but they're not as transmissible as Delta, and Delta just has wiped the floor with everybody. We really have a Delta pandemic right now. We don't really have many other variants that can stand up to the fact that Delta is just so powerful and so contagious. No other variants can really come close. But should this one be more infectious than Delta, then we've got some real problems. We just need some time to do some studies, to look at its what's happening in the real world. I would imagine in a week or two, we're going to have a lot better handle on whether this is a variant that we really need to be concerned about, or whether it's just going to kind of fade away like any other variant that we've seen before. It's pretty tough to top Delta, but again, we worry about it because if that happens, we could be, back to the beginning of COVID again, and nobody wants that. The world's economies don't want that. Nobody wants that. So people are being overly cautious, hopefully, and hopefully we'll do this, more. I think if we had been more cautious with Delta, we could have probably stemmed the spread somewhat, although I think it would have gotten out eventually. We haven't had any documented cases that I've seen in the US. It's definitely here. It's been seen in Europe. There are definitely cases that are in the US. We just haven't detected them yet. We don't do a great job of doing the genotyping. Other countries do better jobs. We need to do a better job than that. But don't freak out. Just do the normal stuff that you've been doing. Get immunized. Get your boosters if you're eligible. Avoid crowds. Wear your masks when needed. You want to put as many layers between you and infection as you can. And we just have to wait a little bit. We're going to cross our fingers, say a couple prayers, and hopefully Omicron will just become another in a long line of other variants that we've seen, and more variants we'll see in the future, and hopefully it will fade away. But if it doesn't, we need to be prepared for it. I'm Dr. Galvin. I will post later in the week as well. Everybody stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.